I don't think Carlos could have spoken any truer words. Thank you, Brother Carlos. I think you guys should give him a round of applause, though, man. He did good, man. He did Sam Cooke good. All right, that's it. Yes. So I just want to thank you guys once again for joining us here today at this important demonstration. On behalf of Black People United for Change and EA Public Relations, again, I welcome you, every member of the Black community here in Ontario, and all those who stand with us in solidarity. Today we're gathering here not just as individuals, but as a unified force because we're calling for justice. We're calling for accountability and for the recognition of the profound and persistent suffering faced by Black people here in Ontario. As a matter of fact, on the continent of North America, to be honest. So we're here to peacefully present our petition to the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. And we are not asking or begging, but we're demanding the implementation of laws that are long overdue. They're called anti-Black racism laws. For far too long, Black people in Canada, we face systemic barriers, discrimination, police brutality, exclusion, and the minimization of ongoing injustices that continue to shape our lives. Are you guys with me? All right, then thank you. It ain't no abstract issue. It's not just a series of statistics. These are real lives, real experiences, and the pain is very real. Okay? Take, for instance, my son, Dante, a young man with no criminal record, ambushed by police, held at gunpoint by law enforcement, and accused of murder, all because he was a mistaken identity. And you want to know what happened? Nothing. No accountability, no justice, just the dehumanization of another Black life. This ain't an isolated incident. This is what happens to Black youth, and this is what we face not just sometimes or once in a while, but every single day. For Black people, our mental health is criminalized within our community. Instead of receiving care and treatment, our people, they're disproportionately incarcerated. Did you know that the first week of March has been recognized as Black Mental Health Week since 2020? I bet you didn't know in the city of Toronto. What effort have we seen to mark such an important week? Were you aware? If you were aware, say yes. If not, say no. Are you with me, people? This just highlights the deep inequities and the lack of care for Black mental health. Now, many might point to anti-racism legislation passed in 2017 and claim, oh, it addresses the struggles of racialized people in Ontario. But to be truthful, let's just be clear. This legislation is not enough. That legislation says anti-hate laws for the Indigenous and the racialized. How many people can claim they're racialized in this country, not just Ontario? Okay? It fails to be specific to Black Ontarians, to the unique history of Black people in this province, to the systemic racism we face, and the ongoing trauma that we endure. This law does not acknowledge the many Black lives lost at the hands of Canadian police. Youth like DeFonte Miller, Regis Korchinski-Packett, Jamal Francine, Chad Facey, names that are too often erased from history. Yet their families, their black families, live with the pain and the trauma and the loss. And what for? There's no accountability. What justice did they ever receive? Can someone tell me? Yes or no? No. Thank you very much. So, what we need to remember is also our African asylum seekers, such as Delphina Niggi, the nameless Nigerian who died on the streets of Ontario. We need to make sure that we remember them today as well. These deaths, their deaths of Black asylum seekers, are a painful reminder of the systemic failures and racial discrimination that persists, even in countries like Canada that pride themselves on diversity and inclusion. Well, they weren't included, were they? What other nationality do you know of that is seeking asylum in this country, in Ontario, that is left to sleep on the street with garbage and then have to freeze in the cold because they were refused entry into the lobby of a shelter that our tax dollars are paying to fund? All right? So the lack of accountability from authorities and the absence of clear answers about why those deaths occurred point to the larger issue of anti-Black racism and institutional neglect. The demand for change is not just about making laws that protect all marginalized communities, or as they say, the racialized, but also ensuring there's some concrete actions in place to prevent any other Black asylum seeker from ever coming to this country and sleeping and dying in the streets in the height of winter time. We shouldn't let their stories be forgotten. Their deaths should be the catalyst for systemic change. And we as a people, we need to continue to amplify their voices and not ask or beg or plea or negotiate, but demand that the laws reflect true equality, humanity, and justice for all people. Okay? We need to take a look back. Yesterday was Throwback Thursday, but you know what? Today is Forget Me Not Friday. Let's not forget the history. Did you guys know there was a time up here in Canada where Black people were denied the right to work, to attend certain schools, where segregated schools existed until as late as 1983? In 1983, the Apple computers were out, so we were not in the Stone Ages that you could say they didn't know better. They knew better in 1983, just as they know better now in 2025. Okay? And we all know Ontario has passed laws protecting other marginalized groups. But what about us? Could somebody answer that for me? What about us? Right. We are a marginalized group. We've been marginalized since 1753. And if laws have been passed to protect other marginalized groups, really and truly, what about us? Where is the law that recognizes anti-Black racism as an explicit crime? We're tired of hearing about crimes committed by Black people in the media, while our pain, our struggles, and our voices are what? Ignored. Ignored. The fact is, truthfully, Ontario refuses to acknowledge the ongoing impact of anti-Black racism that has been embedded in this society since the arrival of the very first enslaved Africans in Canada with Harriet Tubman. So I'm wrapping it up now. I just want us to be clear. Without anti-Black racism laws, it's evident that Ontario is not is choosing to ignore the realities that Black Canadians face when we walk in to go shopping in a store with our money, and all of a sudden security guards that were sipping on a double Timmy's coffee start following us, right? Like bees to honey. Nobody standing here can tell me they don't know what that feels like, because I sure do. Okay? Moving along, the Legislative Assembly may not move swiftly to pass these laws, but we ain't gonna stop fighting for them. Are you guys gonna stop fighting?
No.
Are you ready to go all the way?
Yes.
Even if we have to march up all the way to Parliament Hill, are we gonna keep going?
Yeah.
So that's what's up, Assembly. We will not stop demanding that our government, this province of Ontario, acknowledge the pain and suffering of Black people and take action to protect us from the systemic injustice that continues to harm us. One of my favorite Black activists, one of them is Martin Luther King Jr. You know what he said? He said, the law cannot change the heart of man, but it can restrain the heartless. Do you hear it at Legislative Assembly of Ontario? I know passing a law will not stop a man from being a racist or thinking like the KKK, but if you pass that law, it will restrain them. It will restrain them from calling me a Igor and I'm dropping the letter N. It will restrain them from following me and my kids when we get in a grocery store. It might make our friendly officers who are here to serve and protect think twice before they get trigger happy because they know they'll never be held accountable. Martin Luther King Jr. said, while the law can't change the heart of a man, it can restrain the heartless. So today, we're here to peacefully demand that the government of Ontario pass laws to restrain the heartless, to ensure that the lives of Black people are no longer treated as what expendable, that our debts are not dismissed or justified with lesser charges, and that our youths, our families, and our communities are treated with the dignity and the respect we deserve.
That's right.
We're no longer willing to hold our heads down in defeat. Today we stand tall, even though I'm 5'1". Today we stand tall, we stand united, and we stand in strength as we peacefully present our petition to the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. And rest assured that we will not rest until anti-Black racism laws are passed. Okay?
That's right.
Sorry. Yes, that's it. Thank you. And I hope that together that we will march forward.